Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hyundai Tucson 2005 2-litre diesel. Car came in over the weekend, oil light flashing, then it was on constantly. We've stripped the essentials to get to the oil pressure switch. So we're now going to run a live data oil pressure check, and we're going to see what oil pressure we've got before we make a conclusion. Go. Okay. Well, we've got no oil pressure. It's not a faulty sensor. It's not a bad reading. It's a mechanical problem. We did strip the essentials out, turbo, bottom cover. It was a bit loud because we've got the exhaust downpipe off, which I had to remove to try and find the oil pressure sensor. So we have decided to take the engine out. The reason being, we know the oil pump's got a problem now. It wants a turbo as well because it's noisy, and it also wants a cam belt. Oh, big hand in the way. I've got to get used to that, not to do it. So we've spoken to the owner. They've given us the go ahead. Now, I have decided not to film this as a full video. It'll be a parts series, or a different parts in series. It'll be a couple of episodes. Bear with me. We'll strip it. We'll record everything as best we can. So keep updated. This is going to be a really good series. Check back in a bit. We've made a bit of progress on the removal. Got all the wiring off. Turbo pipes. I've disconnected the gear linkages. That's what we've removed off. Basically the aesthetic covers, top and bottom hose, drive shafts. Just down there is the transfer box. So if I pick the car up, go underneath. I've also loosened the steering rack, slackened the hubs off and the anti-roll bar links. I've taken this downpipe section off, which goes up to the turbo outlet here. This is what we had off when we were doing the live data test for oil pressure. That's why it was noisy. We've also taken the rear prop shaft assembly off. This transfer box is an absolute nightmare to get out. There is a hidden bolt just up here. You get it from the top of the engine bay, and it fastens in just up there. I think that took over an hour to get out, but it's done. So next is take off the rear engine mount just up there, and the front cradle mount just up here. See if I can get some light on the subject. There we go. Just there. Then I have to guide the subframe down away from the steering rack, so it's going to be drop it down, push it back and lower at the same time, I think. But yeah, I'll try and film that as best I can. Obviously I can't film the whole removal because, you know, this has to be done. But we are getting there. Subframe's out. What a absolute sod. This mounting jams on the steering rack. Right up there. And it fits. Just in there like that. So it failed on the mounting, bringing it down. Of course, it doesn't help we got locator pins. But once you get it over this rack, you can lower it down, and then it's just like a conventional two-wheel drive subframe. Just let it down slowly. But that's a good idea. Locator pins, you can't get it wrong. We also have these brackets that fasten to the body and hold the subframe in. We cable tied the anti-roll bar links on both sides. I also fastened the steering rack to the spring on the shock absorber. And we just got to be a bit careful with this point when we take the engine down. But all in all now, yeah, that engine's ready. It's, from what I can see, it's one bolt there. And then this side mount. I've also taken the heater core pipes off from the engine because I might break them on the heater matrix if I take them out. One goes to the EGR cooler just down there, and the other one goes just down there on the water housing. I'll show that when the engine's out, I think. Servo pipe just down there, just there. Yeah, and two vacuum pipes just here. They're color coded, you can't get them wrong. And this coolant expansion tank feed hose there, and the return hose there, just there. AC's been degassed. Power steering's disconnected. So we are ready for the big lift. Right, engine on the floor. Undid these two mountings here and here. Bit of a tip, slacken the centre bolt and then take the bolts off the gearbox and let the engine drop down. All in all, not really that bad. I think it's taken us about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours to get it prepped for the floor. There we go. Now the engine crane can pull out the way, like so. Okay, theoretically, this should expose an engine when we lift the body off. So I'll do a separate shot of that. Finally got the gearbox off the engine. With it out, easy as anything I've done. Just put it under the car for now with the subframe. During the gearbox removal process, we had an update from the mail service. We should have the oil pump tomorrow. So hopefully get the pump side finished this week. And then all we're waiting for is the turbo. We're going to crank the engine out of the car just to build up oil pressure to make sure it's all good before it goes back in. So I'll show that when we've figured out what we're doing. But we're also going to get the starter motor overhauled because they're not the easiest when the engine's in. And at the moment it's one of those while you're in there jobs. Anyway, it's 5:10 in the evening. So I'm going to call it a day. Next is, like I said, take the clutch assembling the flywheel off, get it mounted on the stand and crack on. So, see you in the next video.